Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I know I haven't posted in a really long time, and I'm sorry about that. I've just been really busy with um, other stuff. Um, so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be doing this box called Game Zone, and it's from Tryhackme. If you're new to Tryhackme, it's basically a hack the box like platform that basically has different rooms where you can, teaches you different topics. And it can be from like local file inclusion, how to use metasploit, burp suite, how to find geolocation from images, for example, stuff like that. But also it has your regular capture the flag rooms where you can just say, hey, deploy this box. What are the flags? So for this one, we're going to be doing SQL injections, cracking the hashes, and privesc, and also using a reverse SSH tunnels. My goal for this channel is basically it's to have just people who are beginners and want to learn how to hack feel comfortable just coming watching these videos and actually trying to learn something from this because I'm a beginner too. I've been trying to learn as much as I possibly can within the last month and a half. So definitely hope that my beginner level experience can be relatable, and definitely it have people who feel discouraged or that they can't do it know that you're not alone. Like, I'm here and I'm on the same boat as you. We're all trying to learn because this material is hard, and everyone started out where we are now, just trying to learn. And the first step has already been taken, trying to have the initiative to go out there and at least try. So enough of that talking. Definitely, let's get to this machine. So I've ran an Nmap scan, and I've seen that there's port 22 and port 80s open. So I went to the website and I found this login page. And one of the questions it's asking me is, who is this person here, or this avatar? And if you haven't played the Hitman games, this is Agent 47. You can do a reverse image search. If you're going to reverse image something, I strongly recommend you use Yandex, because Yandex uses more of a machine learning algorithm rather than using Google Images. Google Images takes the picture that you're trying to look up and looks in and see, oh, has someone else or uh, has someone else posted the exact image on another platform. So if you watch Catfish, that's how they figure out, oh, this person is not who they say they are because this picture is a profile picture on Facebook for so and so. So definitely look into Yandex. It's a really great platform. So we finished this first task, so we can move on to the next one. So for this one, it's just giving us an inside scoop on what SQLs are. SQL, standard query language, is just the language that databases communicate with itself. Um, when you log in, it goes to a database to actually um, authenticate you. So we have like the web server where it gets the request, and that request then it communicates. The web server communicates to the database and says, "Hey, does this username and password match what you have?" And it looks something like this. So it'll be like, select everything from users where the username John and password 1234 exist. And if it's a yes, I have it here in my database. Cool, you logged in. If not, then you get a login failed. So the way we can abuse this is actually some databases do not sanitize this these type of inputs. So here you can see we're trying to find the username admin and the password is just blank. And we decide to do an SQL injection by incorporating this symbol here, or 1 equals 1. And what this means is, okay, we're going to have this SQL statement, and it's going to end here because we're closing it off with this, or does 1 equal 1? And 1 equals 1 is always true, which is so what we're saying is select everything from users where username is equal to admin and password is equal to blank or true. So this is going to fail, but this is going to be true, so we're going to have access. And whenever you see these lines here, that's a comment, and that means everything after this statement here is just going to be commented out and not executed. So once we're move into this step, it's just asking us to do it on the username and leave the password blank. So we'll do or 1 equals 1. And we logged into portal.php. And as you can see, this is the answer here. So now we're going to use SQLMAP. SQLMAP is an automated tool that allows us to do what we just did, but automatically. There's a lot of information here that you can read. It is pre-built on Kali Linux, so check it. If you don't have it, you can sudo apt install SQLMAP. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna fire up Burp Suite, and I think I already did it. So let me check if I have the file. I do. But when you launch Burp Suite, it's basically a proxy. There is a room here. I think it's free that you can use Burp Suite, and it teaches you just how to use it. There is a community edition which is completely free. It's already installed on Kali Linux, but if you decide to get a professional edition, it is $3.99 per year for the license. So we're just gonna spin it up, and as the instruction says, you can just put in game reviews. So actually, I'll just demonstrate it here. Okay. And I'm actually gonna start my burp proxy, and I'm gonna run hello. And as you can see, we intercepted the packet, not the packet, I'm sorry, the request. I'm gonna save this, and I'm actually just gonna override this. Perfect. So now once we get this, we're actually just gonna close and say yes, and I'm gonna turn off our burp proxy. I forgot to forward it, but I can just do that. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna run SQLMAP. Whenever you're new to a tool, I really recommend that you check out the manuals page just because it gives you a ton of information about the tool itself. I'm going to use it. I prefer it over the help just because the help gives you the most common options, but the man gives you all the options available. So I'm searching for this flag here, which will allow us to input our intercept file that we just got from Burp Suite. So what we're going to do is going to be sudo SQLMAP tac-r intercept tac dump. So I don't want to store the hash in a temporary file, but I can just crack them, and it's going to give you default dictionary file, custom dictionary file. So I'm going to use the custom one. On a side note here, if you have not heard of Darknet Diaries, it is a podcast. It's a great podcast. I really recommend anyone that's new or just interested in cybersecurity information to check it out. There's an episode there called RockU Breach, and it details you how our rocku.txt word list, which contains a lot of common passwords, came to be. It's really interesting story, so I'd really recommend you guys check it out. And and actually know how all penetration testing machines got this um, text file. So we're actually running the hat. It's actually brute forcing the hash right now, and we actually got cracked password videogamer1234 for user agent 47. So what we can do is actually check out over here and what user was associated with the hash password agent 47. And we see fetching columns for the table posts. So post goes here, and all we need is what is the users table. In the users table, what is hashed password. So we'll wait until this finishes because possibly we can get the hash password there. We can check. No. So we'll let this run a little bit, and hopefully once it's done, it'll give us what the hash actually was. But in the meantime, while this is still running, as you can see, SQLMAP is a great tool just for automating SQL injections because it just does all the hard work for us. Uh, it sends its payload and it gives us the output, and you can dump tables, you can dump data, the columns, the information, everything like that, and it's great to see. Here I can see the posts, so what people are posting. And here it is. It's finished. I have the hash right here, so you just copy and paste that and post it on there, and we're done with that. So the next thing that's asking us to do is actually crack the hash using John the Ripper. When I ran this machine, I had some issues with John the Ripper. I'm not sure why, but I'm not going to detail just because it gives you the exact command right here. They just put the hash into a hash.txt file they create, so I'm actually going to do that too. So I'm going to copy this, and I don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to do gedit um, hash.txt, copy and paste. We'll paste it, save, and a good thing that I do to identify my hash is I use hash ID, and hash ID has a flag to tell you, okay, so you want to find out how to use the format for John the Ripper, and it tells you right here. So you'll use tech format is equal to raw SHA-256, but let's say you want to do hashcat instead. So for hashcat, you'll just do tech-m, and it tells you hashcat mode 1400. So another thing is if you're going to run hashcat, I really recommend that you run it on your main operating system. I'm running it on my VM just because I don't have it installed on my main OS, but it'll still work. So hashcat techm 1400, and then we'll do hash.txt, and then our user share word list again raw q. And because I am running it on VM, I'm going to use tech force. And because I ran it and it already cracked, it's telling me, hey, you cracked it. So I can just do show, and here's the output, video gamer 1224. And this is the password right here. So now we have the password and the username, so we can actually SSH into this machine. So we're going to do SSH agent 47 at our IP address. And I'm really bad at this, so And I'm just going to copy and paste this. And there we go. We're SSH'd in. Now we can do cat user.txt. And here's our flag. And we officially finished our fourth task, my apologies. So for the fifth task, we're actually going to be setting a reverse SSH tunnel. It gives you some information on what it is. I really recommend you go and Google reverse SSH port forwarding. Just gives you more in depth. It was a little confusing because it was a new topic for me too. But basically, it's just the client connecting to us. That is why we have a reverse instead of a regular SSH where we're connecting to our client machine. And the reason why this is done is because from what I've read, the machine that we're trying to connect to has a really tight firewall that does not allow port 22 or SSH to be connected. And this is all done through IP tables if they're Linux or just regular fire settings on a Windows machine. So what this does is you can forward the traffic to a server you own and view it. And this is what the L stands for. This is local, and the R is a remote tunnel, which is you to the client, and you forward your traffic to the other server for others to view. Again, Google this because definitely you'll have better sources available to give you better insight knowledge of what it is. But we'll move on, and what we can do is we can use a tool called SS to investigate sockets running on our host. So we'll just run this command right here on our SSH machine. SS tech TULPN. And we have 5 TCP listening ports available. Sockets, and this is what the answer for that. And then we can see that 10,000 is closed, right? So we can't log in to this one or actually even access it because it's behind a firewall. So what we're going to do is we're going to run from our local machine, we're going to run SSH tech L and this. So what we can do, we can actually just exit this and we'll do sudo, we can just do sudo, actually we can just do SSH tech L 10,000 and then agent 47 at, and then again whatever our IP is. I'm gonna copy and paste the password, and it will get this again, which means it was a success. The reverse SSH worked. So now what we can do is actually we can go to local host. As you can see, I already went to it, and we gain access to this login page. And that was the whole concept of the reverse SSH, was allowing us to access this port, because if we did not and we couldn't access this port from another connection. So now let's see what it's asking us. So what is the name of the exposed CMS? Webmin is the answer to that. And now let's see if we can log in. So we'll do agent 47 and we'll do video gamer 124 and we're in. And we can see here what version we're running. It's always good to look at just versions of of websites because maybe it is out of date and we can actually find an exploit on online for these, for whatever the version is. Maybe it's unpatched or something like that. And here it was one of the questions here. What was the CMS version? So now what we're going to do is actually going to privask this. So we don't need this anymore. We're going to actually run metasploit. So msf console. As you can see, if you're new to metasploit, there is a room just solely dedicated to using metasploit and actually talking you through how to use it. So we're gonna see. So the way that I would think about this is, okay, so it's webmin, right? So maybe let's look here. Let's go to search webmin, see what we have. And we have all these different modules that we can run. So I'm not interested in auxiliary ones because that's not an exploit, but I can see webmin package RCE execution or exploit Unix web app webmin show CGI execution. So remote that I might this one is the one that we want to use just because it's a remote command execution. So we'll use 4, and then we'll show info just to see what it's all about. Most of the times, also, what you'll do is you can do trial and error just to see if the exploit is the one that you're intending to use, and it gives you a description of what the exploit does. So it says here, this module exploits an arbitrary command execution vulnerability and webmin 1.580. So this is what we want. This is our current version that we're running. And it allows an authenticated user with access to the file manager module. So we are an authenticated user. We have the password and we have the username. So we can run this command. So what we need is we need to set the password. So set password videogamer124 set. We're going to do set username. And we're going to do set our host. And for our host, because we're attacking this page, not this page, we're not going to put that IP address. We're actually going to use the local host, and the port's going to be 10,000. And that's very important because if not, the payload's not going to work. And then we're going to do set out our port to 10,000. Okay, so now we're going to do show options. And I see here SSL is true. I'm going to turn this into false because we're not SSL is used on HTTPS, not HTTP, and we're not connecting through port 80. We're connecting through port 443. We're connecting through port 80. So we're going to do set SSL false. Okay, and then we can also just do show targets. Okay, show payloads. Oh, the default payload's fine. Sometimes I look at these just to see maybe what different payloads I can use. But there's nothing, I'm not going to use any of these. So I'm just going to do run. So this actually caught my eye right here when I did this because it says my L host is it's colon 1, and this actually caused the program not to be able to run successfully, and it's gonna fail, and you'll actually see that in a little bit why it fails. See, no session created. So the reason why is because show options again, my L host. So I'm going to actually set L host to what my IP address is. Okay, so now we can run. With Metasploit, most of the time, there is that issue where if you're using a VPN, your L host is actually not going to be that IP address of your VPN. It's going to be that IP address of your uh, Ethernet 0 or your WLAN. So it's always good to check, or just for good habit and good practice, just always set it up manually. So I would just do set L host and whatever IP address you're using. And the one thing in Metasploit is this right here. Anytime you see session one created in the background, or just session one is created in general, that means your execution has been successful and you actually have access. This is the best news that any penetration tester, hacker can get when using Metasploit. So sessions, and we see here shell, CMD, Unix. Okay, so we'll do sessions, tac I1. Starting interaction. Okay, so let's see. Who am I? Oh, there you go. I'm root. Perfect. So I'm going to actually use pwd just to see what location I'm in. Okay, so let's just go to root and cat, and there you go. So we have actually just escalated our privilege, and we are root, and we have the flag. So once you do that, just copy and paste it in here, and that's it. You finished your first machine game zone, and that's the whole task. Metasploit, I really recommend that you try and do the Metasploit rooms, because the Metasploit is a really, really, really good tool to know and be familiar with, because it makes exploiting systems a lot easier because of the payloads and the exploits available to us. So definitely check that out. Like I said, I'm still learning all this material, and definitely Metasploit's something I'm gonna focus on and keep learning a lot more about. But yeah, that's the whole box. Thank you so much, and definitely hope to keep posting in the future, and I'll catch you next time. See you guys.